Yes and no. I mean, yes and no. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yes, no, maybe. Who knows? But
I'm just not giving a fuck. Really, just not giving a fuck. Just whatever happens, happens. You know, like just I'm here for a reason. Don't overthink it. You know, just play the game like you know how to play it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. I am Marty Caswell. That is AJ Cassavell. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. I believe Darren Smith will be along shortly. He has a really fun project later on today that requires him going to TJ, and of course his Knicks are playing. The Knicks are tonight, right? Knicks and 76ers are tonight. So D. Smith will be here.
I thought they played yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, they did. You're right. You're right. They blew him out yesterday. So maybe he's rejoicing after game one, even though he'll never admit to being nervous or to watching his Knicks. He says he gave up on them, but I don't believe them. But all right, AJ, you saw that.
He gave up on the Knicks. They're going to make the finals. They're the best team in the East, from my completely uneducated opinion. But we can discuss that when he's on.
Make sure when he joins the show that you tell them he won't want to hear it, because right when he gets too high, that's when something bad happens to his Knicks. All right, you heard that open. That was Manny Machado from the finale versus the White Sox saying yes, no, maybe when it came to whether or not the road trip affected the Padres. That was Luis Campusano earlier saying not giving an F is why he was able to go ahead and figure things out offensively. AJ, have I solved the problems, woes, actually correctly? Has Luis Campusano solved it? Should Tatis, some of these players, just not give an F? Maybe the pressure is off and they can get back to who they are as an offense.
I think there's something to be said about Tatis potentially taking that mindset, because at this point, like, you look at his swing and kind of how much it's changed even within the first month of the season. It's just been like nonstop tinkering.
Yeah.
And that's like that's not something that's like unique for Tatis. He's done that before and had very successful seasons. But at this point, like, I'm looking at the swing and it changes day to day, and there's not really any rhythm for him. And maybe even some of the stuff that like you see working, all of a sudden it's changing the next day. Like, I don't know. I'm not a self-proclaimed hitting mechanics guy. Like, there are people who are way smarter than me that understand that kind of stuff and like what goes into like moving the body in the right way to impact a baseball and hit it in the air and hit it over fences. But I do know that just in anything you do, changing what you're doing over and over again to try and make it work and then not finding a rhythm is usually a recipe to not do that thing very well. Like, granted, he's struggling, so he's trying to find what it is he needs to be doing to establish that rhythm, and maybe once he does, he's Tatis again. But at some point, yeah, as Luis Campusano said better than I could, maybe that's the mindset you need to take if you want to, because this is not like a, I don't know. It's a minority of people, but some people want to say that the effort's not there. Like, he's taking a ton of swings in the cage and trying to change a whole lot of things, and he's out there and there's different things he's experimenting with pregame. Maybe and here's the thing: he could be a wholly useful player without hitting 42 home runs.
Right.
So maybe the key is to stop even trying to hit home runs, and you run into a couple.
Tell Luis Campusano to give the motivational pregame speech to the Padres offense today. Hey, guys, stop giving an F. Look, it did wonders for me. Just go ahead and tune out the outside noise. Stay out social media. Don't take advice from everyone who's looking at every possible reason: your stance, your hair, your wristbands, everything else. And is the focus on Tatis because it's 0 home runs, or is it just the collective body of work from Fernando?
I think it's significantly heightened because it's 0 home runs. I think if he had 1 home run on the board, this wouldn't be as loud because, I mean, his numbers are similar to Jackson Merrill's, like on the whole. And Jackson Merrill has a couple home runs. He hit one last night, but like they're both struggling in the same way. But Tatis, a guy who should be hitting home runs and isn't, it's just a lot more glaring. And so the spotlight's on him a little more. And so then I don't know if that helps him. I think he realizes the way to get the spotlight off of him is to hit a home run. And that should not be your goal when you go to the plate. Your goal when you go to the plate should not be to hit a home run, which I don't think it is. I don't think he's up there like I have to hit a home run to get a 1 in the home run column. I think it's in the back of his mind, he knows that that's the way he can quiet this noise, this slump that he's off to start the season.
Like Craig Stammen said a couple of weeks ago, he's not a home run hitter. He's a hitter. It's going to come. It's just a matter of time. Hopefully with Fernando, it comes in bunches. All right, AJ Cassavell, a couple of weeks ago, actually to start the season, I remember you saying that the Padres' biggest issue going forward is going to be their rotation, right? And that was before the injury to Nick Pivetta. Since then, of course, Griffin Canning has made his debut, a very good debut against the White Sox. They had signed Lucas Giolito. Right now, as things stand on May 5th, what do you think is the Padres' biggest issue if they want to be true contenders?
The lack of production from their stars, but I think that production will come. And I don't know, like that right now, that's what needs to happen based on what's happened so far this season. Like they need to get more from Merrill, Tatis, and Machado. I think before the season, I said, like, if you get 25 homers apiece from that group, which is very doable, you should be in pretty good shape. They're just not on pace for that. They're not slugging. The lineup depth, I think, is pretty good. Signings like the Miguel Andujar signing was a really solid one. Campusano's fit in toward the bottom. Cronenworth's obviously struggling. Like, he's got to get going at some point. But like Castellanos, we've seen some positive things from. Like, I think the offense on the whole, there's reasons to believe in it. But the Stars got to get going. Now, the rotation, like, you just have to assume that those guys get going. That Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis get going, because the Padres aren't going to do anything if they aren't. Like, they're not going to have – maybe one of them has a disappointing season, but if the three of them are struggling all year like they are right now, the Padres aren't going to do anything. You got to assume that they're going to be okay because, as a million people have told us, the back of their baseball card says so. So then from there, like, how do you build – like, what is the real question? And I think it's they need another starting pitcher. I think they need this rotation needs to just be a little – like, it's a completely – when you add Giolito to the mix, it's a completely competent rotation. Yeah. But to win and be a contender in October, you need Pivetta, Musgrove, maybe a trade deadline guy. Like, you need more than what you have right now. This can get you through a long baseball season, but – if you're going to win in October, I think they need another arm, which is what I think they'll spend. I mean, it's a long way away, but I think that's what they'll spend the trade deadline looking for. I don't think, like, you can look at this offense and be like, it needs to slug more, it needs to hit more, but where are you adding? What spot on the diamond are you looking for?
Okay.
I think starting rotation. I think one more starting pitcher is what they would be looking for. I mean, you could, like, if Jake Cronenworth doesn't hit, maybe you look for something at second base. Maybe you look for catchers are impossible to find anyway, and they got one last year. And I think Freddie Fermina's done a good job with the pitching staff. But where do you don't really upgrade this offense? It's a pretty complete offense. I think you look for one more starting pitcher, a guy that you're comfortable sending to the mound in the playoff game. You
mentioned Jake Cronenworth. And again, the Padres issues on offense are not because of Jake Cronenworth, right? But it's going to be magnified when your stars are not hitting. The guys you expect to carry you aren't hitting. How much pressure is on Jake? I mean, what could the Padres do? I know there was conversation, about Sung-Moon Song and the fact that he had the oblique injury, which kept him from making this roster. But how much pressure is on Jake Cronenworth? And do they even have a realistic answer in their system?
Well, if Song hits like the Padres hope he can, maybe he could be the answer. The problem is they're both left-handed hitting second basemen, so is Cronenworth all of a sudden relegated to a bench utility role? I mean, if Song's hitting, then maybe that's what it is. Craig Stammen was asked about Song yesterday pregame, and he was basically, the way I interpreted his answer was a kind of veiled way of being like, we've been really healthy so far. Like, at some point, someone on this offense is going to go down, and we're going to have a need for Sung-Moon Song. And, like, he's the clear and obvious first call up, but they've made it through the first 7 weeks of the season without any of their offensive players going down to injury. So they haven't that's not. You want to knock on wood, and you never want to wish poor health on anyone, but that's just the nature of baseball. That's what's going to happen. So at some point, I think he gets called up, and when he gets called up, like, there are regular at-bats to be had at second base if Jake Cronenworth's still struggling. I think there's pressure on Cronenworth. It's not the same kind of pressure as like what Merrill, Tatis, and Machado are feeling because they need to carry the offense. Yep. But Jake Cronenworth needs to have an OPS above 50. Like it can't, like he's a very, very good defensive second baseman. If you're hitting him ninth and his OPS is 680, that's incredible. That's entirely useful, and that's what he's been for the majority of his career. So if you get that version of that guy, great. It can't be what it is now. He's got to figure something out at the plate.
So Walker Buehler goes tonight for the Padres. I think Matt Waldron goes tomorrow. What would be the merits of a 6-man? Does a 6-man rotation, AJ, make sense for the Padres when Giolito does join this rotation?
It'll depend on where in the calendar it happens. Okay. I think it makes some sense for like a turn or two. Just give those guys. It's the early part of the season. You don't want to be overburdening guys in your rotation. Mm-hmm. If you give those guys a little bit of extra rest, that's fine. Oh, hi, Darren.
Good morning. Have I missed the Fernando Tatis Jr. talk?
Nah.
You basically did. Yeah, I think we just wrapped it up. But
that's why I'm late. I cannot suffer through another minute.
No, but we solved it. No, real quick.
You don't have any hitting tips?
Anything
about his load or his
scroll through Twitter and see that it's the wrong batting gloves, that it's the wrong load, that it's the long lower body. It's incredible.
It's the hair. It's the hair. Didn't you know it was the hair?
Did not.
No, we solved it.
That sounds like talk radio. Is that where that came from?
What
that theory?
This?
This is modern media, AJ. Don't you know?
Refined takes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't.
No, Marty did solve it, I kind of agree. Like, he needs to take the Camposano approach because he has over tinkered at this point. I think to the point where I don't know what his swing is anymore, and it's not a disservice to him. Like he's trying to figure it out, but at some point you try too many different things, and it's hard to kind of establish any sort of a rhythm, and that's what I see from him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember where exactly it was that I read it. Forgive me. It might have been you, AJ, or Dennis, but somebody talked to Steven South and like, oh, he's close. And after watching the game on Monday night, it's like he hasn't looked further away this season. It's a rough watch.
Yeah, anyway, and I thought he looked close on Friday. I thought he looked close on Friday when he went 2 hits, 2 walks, or whatever it was.
Man, that was a tough watch. Anyway, what were you guys talking about? Sounds like you guys were talking about pitching instead, which is better.
We moved on to the rotation. Yes.
Okay, cool.
6-man rotation. The merits of a 6-man rotation, Darren.
Okay. Well, I'm just here to listen.
No, go ahead.
I don't think a 6-man rotation for an extended period of time makes sense, but I do think that if you look on the calendar and you have like 13 games in a row, and that's when Giolito's coming back, and you've got guys you want to spread out because it's May and you don't want to overburden them, then hell yeah, short-term 6-man rotation, and then eventually you pare it down to 5. Part of that'll be contingent on Matt Waldron pitching better, and I think he did in his last start. But I don't know. I think this rotation is actually, if there's a lot of ifs in it, like you need to get health from Pivetta and Musgrove at some point, but it could be lined up to be what it needs to be. Like, just get by for the first couple weeks, get a little better in May and June, and then be good when it counts. If you get those guys and then you make a trade at the trade deadline.
Yeah, 6-man rotation sounds good depending on the 6 people that you have, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like King. six regular guys out there, probably not so great. AJ, I was just scrolling through something before I came up here, and I thought somebody made an interesting point that similar to I guess in theory, a little bit of the way that it worked last year is Padres got off to a really good start and then kind of leveled off a little bit. Like good starts, thankfully you have them. Not saying that it gives you an opportunity just to kind of go into cruise control mode, but now that you do have some things apparently that you do have to address, it's a good thing you really did get off to that good start because it allows you some flexibility and a little bit, of margin for error, so that whatever it is, whether it's what's happening in the batter's box or what's happening in the bullpen or what's happening with the starting rotation now, you have bought yourself a little bit of time. I know that's not satisfying for people to listen to because you just want to keep the pedal on the metal and keep cruising, but still, like, it's a good thing they got off to that good start because, some of these things have kind of like popped up now that they need to address.
Totally. And I think like an even bigger reason for that start and for like having banked those wins, like there's something to be said for banking wins early in the season so you can buy yourself time when the struggles hit. Because the vibes are still pretty good. I know like the vibes on Twitter and in Padres fandom are not good right now because they've lost 6 of 8. But like these guys are baseball players that have played 6-month seasons before, and they understand that being 20-14 is a pretty good thing, and that like there are issues to work through and solve. But because they have banked those wins, they're doing so not from a position where the Giants are, where the Giants are 14-21 and trying to figure out some of the same things. Like the Padres have a baseline for figuring out ways to win and still need to solve some problems on offense, most of which are just getting their biggest stars to hit.
Marty, where are you?
Okay, I'm in my living room right now. I'm so sorry, but yesterday's show we were so distracted because all the construction that was going on upstairs, and they were literally like drilling something right over the kitchen area table. So I just moved so it wasn't so loud. But right now it's a nice, pleasant lull. So I am sitting on the floor like on a 2-year-old stool right now, or like a tiny little, like a kid's toddler chair, because I happen to have one. So
Okay.
my setup is ridiculous right now, but it's working for right now. So anyways.
Okay. AJ, I wonder, do you have a quick thought on Luis Arraez? This was a point that they were talking about during the broad. Did you guys already talk about this? Again,
No,
this
not
is-
yet, but
okay.
I'm so glad
No.
you brought it up, because I was going to bring that up, because I'll tell you a secret, Darren. AJ's prediction, and it may have been just him and I shooting the breeze in the press box, was that the Padres would trade for Luis Arraez by the deadline when the Giants.
This is my
fell out of it,
prediction
right?
in March. That was
March.
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
I know how much people at the Padres love Luis Arraez, and well, they should. He's
Yeah.
like a fun guy to cover, and he's a fun guy. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing to dislike about Luis Arraez the person. That was a joke for what it's worth. But
I
like if you look
think
at the way the Giants are playing right now, they're like he's a tradable asset at the deadline. I'm not saying the Padres should trade him. I think the Padres should trade for a starting pitcher. But I am blown away by how well he's played at second base. Like blown away. And
Go over.
I am he's leading the league in outs above average at the position. I think maybe at any position. He's been unbelievable. And like talking with Giants writers who watch him every day, like they see I told them that he was not going to be good enough at second base. And I was wrong. Like it was, I told them, here's what's going to happen. He's going to make some plays. He's going to make some routine plays, but he's not going to have enough range. He's not going to make it work, because that's what I saw the few times he played second base in San Diego. And so far, it looks like I have been completely wrong, which I am more than happy to admit, because Luis Arraez told me, I covered Luis Arraez for a year and a half. He probably told me 10 times that he viewed himself as a second baseman and that he's willing to play first base or DH because that's what the team needs, but he thought he was a second baseman and that's what he wanted. And that's why, you know what? You're a free agent. More power to you. Go sign with the Giants where you can be a second baseman and prove me wrong when I'm skeptical. And he has. Like he's been really solid defensively. I don't think he's the best defensive second baseman in baseball, but he's clearly a passable second baseman, which is not what I expected. And
Right. And
Good
I
for
think
him
it's a
for
credit
proving
to
me wrong.
him, because the way the story is being told, right? And you probably heard this. I have to listen to it through the television, you know, in a good way, is that how much he's working with the coaching staff up there, right? And even to the point yesterday where it sort of stood out, I follow a lot of these guys in the Bay Area media, and they had the press conference, the managerial press conference last night, where the manager's like, hey, this guy stood up in our clubhouse, and this is the player that you should bring your kids to go ahead and watch. I'm like,
Right.
wait, that Luis Arraez? You know,
Yes.
not that I thought he was a rotten apple, not at all. Like, just not that I expected him to be spoken of the way you just did, the way others have, in terms of how hard he's worked defensively. We knew the guy could hit. We knew he had a stick. Again, the bunting thing was kind of weird last night. That was just another weird moment from him. We saw a million of those when he was here in San Diego.
yeah,
But yeah, like you're kind of like, you know, maybe this guy got a little bit of a bad rep, certainly on his way out of town, when he seems willing to be a version of himself, maybe that we didn't necessarily get a chance to see all that much when he was here in San Diego. I just think it's interesting to have heard some of the stuff that was said last night and during the broadcast about his defense at second base, and also, you know, the type of presence he's been in that clubhouse.
But I also think so much of that conversation with Luis Arraez, the consternation over the Padres last season, was their lack of slug. And he's playing first base, and you're like, that's a position of power. You need a lot more slug from your first baseman. So perhaps that the solution was Luis Arraez, second baseman. He's a 300 hitter right now. I think he would be leading both teams in WAR. Perhaps Luis Arraez has been the missing piece all along. We got it all wrong, guys.
it's not his fault. It's not his fault that he was hitting second and like being relied upon for slug. Like I still maintain he's a very useful player. That if he had hit sixth, and I don't know how receptive he would have been to that. He's hitting third in San Francisco, but like I would guess that he's probably fine with it. Like he's a competitive guy who probably wants to prove that he should hit higher than sixth, but he should have been hitting second all last season. Like that was part of the problem, was that they're counting on Luis Arraez to deliver slug, and they have a guy like Ryan O'Hearn on the. We don't need to relitigate what last season was, but
well, who do you think should be playing, AJ? No, but you're right. I mean, it's
where have I heard that before?
It's not his fault that this guy, maybe preferred a different position and didn't hit home runs. It's kind of who he is.
Yeah,
I
love covering Luis Arraez. He's an intense guy, and if you had told me that he would work his ass off to become an average defensive second baseman, I would have believed that's within the realm of possibility. I mean, I don't know. I don't think these defensive numbers will maintain all season long, where he's the best in baseball. But I think he's pretty good. And then come trade deadline, who knows what the Giants will do? There's a long way away. Maybe they get competitive. Maybe they work their way back into wild card contention. But he's on a 1-year deal.
Maybe it's the Ron Washington effect with all the work he does with his infielders in pregame. It could be that guy. I mean, he's an impactful coach, former manager. All right. I had told Darren that we don't need to talk all baseball because we've talked so much ad nauseum about Tatis, and I'm sure everyone's tired about what's wrong, figuring it out. Darren, how do you have anything you want to say on your Knicks?
Yeah. I mean, they look like the best team in the East, don't they? A week ago, I was out on them.
Darren.
From your lips, AJ. From your lips, that would bother you, I know, as a Nets fan.
I have no ill will to the Knicks. I've never been one of those Nets fans, probably because I grew up in New Jersey around more Sixers fans. So the Sixers bother me a lot more. But the Nets do have all the Knicks picks, so I am invested in the Knicks crashing and burning now, which is not that's not. There's no ill will toward the Knicks. It's just it'd be really nice if. You know what? Maybe they'll win a title and then implode. So let's if we can agree on that,
I'll take it.
Would take that.
Where do I sign for that? It's been 50 years of misery rooting for this franchise, so I don't really know. I was willing to say that winning the NBA Cup, where I went there. I flew to Vegas just to go watch that. Was going to be a high point of my life, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. This was a hangover game for the Sixers for sure, beating the Celtics in 7. But still, the Knicks have looked great, closing out Atlanta. I think they will. And I saw this series referred to as the real Eastern Conference Finals somewhere, a preview on Yahoo. That surprised me because I think Cleveland's still pretty good and Detroit won the East regular season. So I'm not so sure about that, but I do have that one tucked away in the back of my mind. Let me ask you, AJ, I want some advice because I'm heading to Tijuana today to go interview Justin Turner, who is playing for the Tijuana Toros. Yeah, I think it's a really cool story.
I've never been to a Toros game. I would love to go.
Okay. I will talk to them. They are very amenable. They would love for you to go down there, I'm sure, and go experience it. I've heard nothing but great things about the experience of going to Toro Stadium. What would you ask Justin Turner if you had the opportunity? I'm sure I'm going to get accused of Dodger loving. I don't care. But what would you ask Justin Turner if you were going to go down and interview him later?
I think the big question is just why are you still doing it?
Yep.
Right. And I think I know the answer. It's not a question that I love asking because one thing I think about professional athletes is do it as long as you want to do it because once you can't do it anymore, once there's no one willing to pay you to play baseball, then you're done. But this is a guy that's accomplished pretty much everything he's wanted to accomplish in baseball, and he's still doing it for the Toros, and I think that's both noble, and I'm curious to find out why he feels he should be and needs to be still going.
How much do you guys think he made in his career? I looked this up just because, again, I don't know that it's going to come up because I'm like you. I don't, it's sort of a weird approach. But just to have it in the back of my mind, how much do you think Justin Turner made in his career?
I would say 160 million.
I would say less, 110.
About 140. So, split the baby on that one. That's, 145, I think, is the exact amount. And I'm sure there was some other, playoff bonuses and World Series bonus from 2020 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And again, not that I thought he was ever doing this because he needed the money. You know what I mean? There are other guys on that roster, like Javi Guerra. Remember that name? He's been down there pitching. Franchi Cordero's
Franchi's on that team? Yeah.
Yeah, Franchi's on that team. There's been some interesting names. Luis Perdomo, Oliver Perez, right? So Wilmer Flores is currently on this team. So, some of those guys probably haven't made enough that they don't have to do anything for the rest of their lives.
Who's the manager?
Roberto Kelly.
What? The former Yankee and the Red?
Yeah, Bobby Kelly. Yeah.
Wow.
Paul O'Neill back in the day.
Incredible. My goodness.
It's amazing. I know. I mean, he's Panamanian, I want to say. Fernando Rodney was down there a couple of years ago. So
Yeah.
Kevin Quackenbush. Again, so for certain guys think maybe it's a little bit of an opportunity to get back into the big leagues.
Okay.
I don't think he's going for that. I just think he's like, hey, listen, I'm from Southern California. Still got it. He's hit a couple home runs. I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool story that a guy who's done everything like AJ just said is that he's still out there and he's still getting it done. I kind of appreciate the fact that he's going through all
I would ask this: why the Toros and why not? Did you not have a chance to play for the Savannah Bananas? Because I do see some former players that go over there too.
Have you guys ever seen that video on Instagram, the Savannah Banana guy who does the Savannah Banana dance?
No.
You guys never saw that?
No.
I'll send it to you afterwards. It's hilarious. Well, unless you want me to send it now, you can play it. But it's yeah.
All right, so I know everybody here has to go. Let me ask you a question that I first asked AJ Cassavell because I saw a trailer for House of the Dragon, and season 3, Darren, drops later in June. So I need to get caught up again because I can't remember Rhaenyra, all the Aegons, like the Aegons, whatever. It's confusing. I asked AJ Cassavell if he was watching House of the Dragon, and he said no. Can you explain to Darren why you won't watch it?
Yeah, those books, the Game of Thrones books were like my favorite thing ever for like 6 or 7 years, and then he just stopped writing them. So I'm kind of boycotting that whole world. Like, and like, it's not just that he stopped writing them; it's that he stopped writing them and let the TV show take over. And if you look at the TV show, when did it get crappy? It's basically as soon as the plot from the books ended, and it just went straight to the TV. So I think like if you put something out in the world that's as cool and beloved by as many people as the first 5 books of that Song of Ice and Fire series, then you kind of have not an obligation, like that's like not fair of me to say, but like just try to get the next book out. Just don't write like 7 other like spin-offs and knockoffs and just, I don't know. It still bothers me that there's no 6th and 7th book of Game of Thrones, and we're here with a spin-off TV show and 9 other things. So you know what?
But this was based on a book,
guy.
Right?
Yeah, it's based on a book that he wrote, I believe.
Right.
Separate, like instead of
finishing 6 and 7,
instead of finishing these 2 books, like the 2 books that he needed to finish. I don't know.
But isn't that throwing the baby out with the
guy.
bathwater? Like you're damning this series because he didn't finish the other one. I mean, these 2 things can be true. That was disappointing that he didn't finish those other ones, and this could still be a good product. My wife read this book. She said
I'm not doubting that it's a good product. I think it's a good product. It's just my
got it. I
wanted those last 2 books, and I'm a fantasy guy. I read a lot of fantasy books. Like there are 7 or 8 other worlds that I can live in and enjoy with guys who like are willing to finish the books. So,
do you want the book? I have it, and that's why I'm looking over my shoulder because it's like literally 10 feet away from me. I gave it to my wife.
What is the book?
For Christmas.
Is the book
Fire and
is the book
Ice,
like
Fire and Blood or something? That's what I'm looking for.
Is it a big long book? Like, or is it like his old books?
My wife's a speed reader, dude, and she said this is the hardest thing that she ever read in her life because again, she had to keep going back. Like Aegon, what? Aemon who? So there's a lot of similar looking and sounding names. But yeah, I mean, I'll give it to you. Yeah. Give it a rip. I think the series is incredibly watchable. It really is. And you guys know I was.
I don't doubt. Everyone loves it. Everyone who I trust their opinions on TV shows says I should watch it, and I would love it. I'm just like, I still feel like a jilted lover. I still feel like.
No, you did not. No, you did not, Darren. You didn't.
I did.
You're full of crap. You trusted Austin Hedges. You refused to watch Game of Thrones until we went to we did like a special viewing party. I forgot. We went to somewhere in Liberty Station. We drank some good beers.
Yeah, that wings place.
Robbie Erlin and Austin Hedges and we all watched Game of Thrones. The first
game, Bob.
Yep, and yes, and then Darren was.
But it was because you guys were pressuring me on the radio, and he heard that, and he said, "You sound like a loser, so you got to listen to these people." And I said, "Whatever, they're dorks." Right. And he goes, "Well, what if we set up a private? We will go to Firebirds. Is that the name of it?
Something like that."
Yeah. And then we went there and we did the first couple of episodes. And I was like, "All right, this is pretty good." And then I had to sell my wife on it, and then she's like, "Come on, man, dragons, get out of here." That nonsense. So there was a domino effect, but it started with you guys. It started with you 2, seriously, because I was like, maybe they're right, but I'm not so sure. And then when Hedger set that up, I couldn't.
So you remember how much I loved it?
I do.
You remember how much I loved it, and it was, I don't know. I still feel scorned. I wanted those last 2 books.
I know.
Those
I
first
know.
5
And
books
this is
were
my
like
opportunity.
my
though.
favorite.
So it's like,
They changed my life. Like I got into a whole different genre of reading, and like maybe I deserve. Maybe George R. R. Martin deserves more credit than I'm giving him for the books that he did write.
Wait a second. Did you finish season 6 and 7? I mean, on TV?
Yes,
or
I
were
finished
you
the whole show.
disappointed?
Yeah. I was just very disappointed basically once it moved beyond the plot of the books.
Can I just say though? I mean, this is totally coincidental timing. So I don't know how. I guess I clicked on a Game of Thrones clip on Twitter, and so now it's just like nothing but Game of Thrones clips. I was thinking about this literally like an hour ago because the clip came across my feed where what was her name? Misandry?
Yeah. The red woman?
No.
No. The one, the curly hair. Yeah.
Yes. Where in that final season. Where she gets killed pretty gruesomely up on top of the wall, but the last thing she says is Dracarys. Like that clip literally just popped up, and I was like, "Damn!" Everybody craps all over that final season, but there were some good moments for sure. Like there were some good. Ones.
Here's my I think and I've said this a million times, and but it could have been good. The basic plot points from one to the next like all made sense as to how it would have gone. If they slowed it down and had more text material to work off of and the plot so that the plot made sense and flowed, because it was like the outcome and the way it needed to be another season longer and it needed to have more source material.
I agree.
Still it being bitter.
Yeah, Miss Andrew, is that her name? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
How do you
remember she got captured. She's up on top of
Yeah.
that wall and they're like they're trying to talk to Cersei like, hey, like, it doesn't have to happen this way. Your whole family doesn't need to die. And you think for a moment, maybe. And then she turns around and gives the cue. She's like, if you have any last words, now's the time. They cut her head off on top of that wall. I mean, that was drama, man. Like, that's a good. Well, anyway.
Anyways, long story short, AJ, give it a shot. Give it 1 episode. It's amazing. Oh, by the way, we'll close on this. I do have because this conversation, I'm inspired. I do have your question for Justin Turner. How many times have you been compared to Tormund Giantsbane? The redhead. That's the guy. He looks just like Justin Turner, right? They look side by side. I say, how many times have you been mistaken for this dude? Except for the height.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. I know. I think he's growing the beard back.
On.
So, yeah, that's good.
Moved on from Game of Thrones.
How's San Francisco? Are they all over the manager up there or what?
Yes. I didn't get I flew in yesterday and got in. I basically strolled into the press box 20 minutes before clubhouse was opening, so I didn't get a ton of time to really talk it through with the Giants people. But not a good start. It's not looking good.
Not good.
I don't think these changes that they made, all these call ups, they're more interesting, but it's not gonna change some of the problems they have with the roster, and they really can't hit. So you think the Padres have problems offensively? Yikes! The Giants offense, a lot of issues.
Should be a good one today. Way to sell the game for later. Glad I'll be missing this.
9-8.
How many managers does Buster Posey get to hire? I mean, first time baseball ops, president of baseball ops, gave Bob Melvin an extension. That didn't work out. This is his handpicked guy. We'll see.
14-21. It is early. I'm willing to give this more time, but I think I see where it's headed.
Luis Arraez, you're a Padre. That's where it's headed.
It's getting rough out there, man. I think people would
probably go
for the
pick
content,
him up at the airport. I would love that.
Yeah. Oh, I think a lot of fans go pick him up at the airport if that happened right now. So crazy things happen. Well, good luck trying to find a theory for Fernando. I don't envy you having to do this every day.
I love it. I think it's fun. I don't. You know what? Take the Luis Camposano approach. That applies to me too.
Yep.
So.
Right.
We should
stop giving stop giving enough.
Yep.
I know we can curse here, but I feel bad. I don't know if AJ cusses like that.
No,
by the way,
AJ
look good on
AJ
television the other night. Nice job with the jacket.
Yeah.
I told you I needed the jacket. Just fit in a little better. You know what? I'm not. I go for the casual look as much as possible, but on TV, I feel like I just can't. So
I know, and those guys dress really well. And then you got Elston there too. It's like you can't.
A little too well.
I know. Yeah, I agree. I know it's intimidating. And then Elston's there, and you just, you can't. Creates problems. So, I got you. I know what you're saying.
It was fun.
All right.
I had a fun time.
Thank you. Sticking with Atletico and what? PSG?
I think I would. I think I'm still sticking with PSG, but I think I would switch to Arsenal. I watched that Fulham match. They look pretty good. Did you watch?
Yeah, they did.
Sorry, I know we're going over. I don't have my usual 11 o'clock meeting.
Oh, good. You can keep. You guys can keep talking. Keep talking soccer, please.
I do need to run on the Embarcadero and then watch the soccer match. Those are the two things that I have on the docket before the game today. But Arsenal look good, and then that match, I know it's different things, the Premier League and the Champions League, but I think they get a boost from watching City drop points yesterday and
I do too.
Fiery. I kind of think it's going to be Arsenal PSG.
I'm going to stick with that
yesterday.
I was watching Sevilla just because it's a relegation match in Spain, but I had it on the smaller television, and I just saw this ridiculous defense from Manchester City where they just it just was the most ridiculous thing that you've ever seen. Like I don't even know what they were trying to do there. It's hard to believe, but I agree with you. I think it can take a little bit of tension off. I know Arsenal probably has to feel really good that they're not going to end up with a goose egg here, right? Because it's one of those, it felt like it might be one of those seasons where they were in contention for everything, but then somehow, somewhere they end up with nothing. Like Inter Milan last year. I mean, just because I paid attention to it. Because
I've heard it compared to that,
Yeah, and they were in contention for everything. And then by the end of the year, these guys were so gassed because they played in all these competitions, they ended up with no trophies. So, I was like, oh, man, it's not going to happen to Arsenal. They got knocked out of the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and they're hanging by a thread, and now City's tracked them down, and who knows what's going to happen in Champions League. But now you're like, it goes to show you how razor thin the margin is between winning and losing in sports, right? You can go from almost winning nothing, and now you're like making a plausible case they might win a double. And like in a really impressive.
I think they have a better chance to win two. Better chance to win two than none right now. If I'm looking at I don't think they'll beat PSG, but I think they have a chance, and they should.
And a week ago, I wasn't
now,
sure.
So
I know a week ago, I was like, oh man, this team might end up with nothing. Like, what are you going to do if you're Arsenal and you end up with nothing out of this season? Can you continue?
Yes. Yesterday was painful for me because I have watched City in that exact scenario for so many years. 2014, 2019, 2022, 2024. How many times has City had the title fate in their own hands and played a match where if they lost it or dropped points, they wouldn't have had it in their own hands? I don't know if they've lost a single game like that or dropped points in a single game like that. Every time I had been waiting to see that happen to them, and it happens in a year when Liverpool's not there to take advantage of it. So,
but
2019
it couldn't happen when Liverpool's racking up 99 points. Yeah,
2019, I was praying for it, and it never happened. 2022, same thing. And you know what? Maybe Arsenal takes advantage. It's gonna be awesome. That was one of the best Premier League games I've ever seen in terms of just drama and anger. Both teams left the field angry, and the fans are walking out, and then Holland scores a goal, and they start walking back in, and then some fans yelling at the other fans who were walking out. That was awesome stuff. So as a neutral, I was glad my plane was delayed, and I was glad the Wi-Fi in the plane was good enough where I could watch the whole thing.
Your flight was delayed yesterday. I wonder if you were on the same flight as my wife. Were you on an Alaska Airlines flight?
I was, yes.
You were on the same. Wow. You guys didn't get out of there until 3:00.
No. I was on a earlier one. I got out at around 12:30, so I was able to watch this whole soccer game. So maybe the next Alaska flight was delayed as well.
Yeah, she had all sorts of problems.
She was sitting in the front reading a Game of Thrones book.
Yeah.
Season 6. Book 6.
I know. I said yesterday she wasn't a nerd because you were talking about what to do in New Zealand, but she is that kind of nerd for sure.
Right?
So, yeah, everybody's got an inner nerd.
Yep.
When are you going?
Oh, no, she is. She's on her way.
Oh, she is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get to go on this trip. I have soccer matches. I got 3 matches. I can't give up 3 matches in a week. We've got Seattle, and then we have Austin.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go to New Zealand versus Egypt, the World Cup in Vancouver. That's the one that I have circled on my calendar when I'll be off. So
I was just going to ask you guys, where are you going to go for the World Cup? Have you bought tickets? Have you planned your trip? Where would you most want to go? AJ, New Zealand.
I want to go to Guadalajara, but I don't think I can. Schedule doesn't quite line up for me. So Vancouver is going to be my trip, and I'm going to go to a game in LA too.
Vancouver's beautiful.
You're going to go to that USA Paraguay game?
Nope.
Plenty of tickets
haven't been
available,
able to get
AJ. Like
tickets
30,000 available. Probably just wait to the day. of and
There
like,
were
if
tickets
you wanna
available
go
for
in.
Bosnia versus Bosnia, Switzerland, which should have been Italy, Switzerland. As a person of Italian heritage, I was very much rooting for it to be Italy, Switzerland, and not that I like actively root for Italy, but I would have sat there and bought an Italy shirt and rooted for them in this game. But congrats to Bosnia, Switzerland, and LA. That'll be fun.
Well, you don't know. I mean, maybe it's not too late. You know, there's special envoys to the president of the United States who are advocating for Italy to take Iran's spot. So you never know. You still might get that opportunity. I know nobody wants to go down this road.
Yeah, this is probably my cue to go run the Embarcadero.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna try to do what you wanted to do, is go to Guadalajara. So I'm gonna try to go to some of those matches. But again, these tickets, like, I'm just gonna keep waiting because it seems like they're getting lower by the minute. So at some point, they'll just be giving them away for free on that one. So, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to make everybody feel uncomfortable.
No, this was fun. I appreciate it. That was good. It's good to take a break from talking about Tatis and what's wrong with the offense. We hit Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons, the World Cup. So, and your Knicks. So, Darren, congratulations on your Knicks. As AJ Cassavell said here on
one game in the second round
in the Section 1904 podcast, they look like champs. So, congratulations, Darren.
They're going to win it all, Darren.
They're going to win it all. Congratulations on your Knicks.
I'm uncomfortable with this.
I told you.
This doesn't work for me.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time. I'm Marty Caswell. That's Darren Smith. And that is AJ Cassavell. We're brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a wonderful day, and don't spoil the ending of House of Dragons for AJ Cassavell, because one day, he's going to break down, and he will watch it. Have a great day, everybody. How have you felt about your own start to this season? What you've been able to do?
Obviously, we won better numbers or whatever, but I've been playing some good baseball, playing defense, offense, hitting the ball hard in every part of the field. But looks like the baseball gods are really mad at me right now. It's all right, I'll take it. We got 5 more months of baseball, and I'm ready for it. I'm really prepared, and I have all the confidence in the world.